Today, on day 2 of our King Tut Mask, we are going to start by gluing our foiled paper onto tag board. So the foiled paper that we have is not very strong. So the tag board is just going to make it a little bit stronger and sturdier. So I'm putting a little bit of glue all over the tag board side, and your foil paper should be a little bit larger than your tag board. So I'm smoothing that down, and I'm going to flip it over. I'm not worried about the extra that's around the edge because we are going to cut it off. So if I flip back to the King Tut Mask, we want to create this shape around the edge of the King Tut headdress. So on your paper, the top is kind of flat, just like the top of your tag board. So I am going to create some edges that round from that side, leaving a flat edge at the top, and trying to make this symmetrical. So these two triangles that I'm going to cut off are about the same size. They come down at about, if I drew a line straight across here, it's going to come pretty even. I am then going to just trim this extra off. We're going to use those face forms to trace the size of the hole we're going to cut out. So I'm leaving some space at the top, sliding this up, making sure I have space on the side, and I'm going to trace that headdress or the head form. And then at the bottom, I've got to leave a space for the neck. So it's not just going to be solid gold down here. I'm going to trace a space, leaving some space under the chin. And this space down here is going to be almost a rectangle shape, square shape, as wide as my hand. And I'm going to cut it out. So this is a box that I'm going to cut out. It might not look like it's making sense yet, but I'm going to trim this extra gold, trimming up on that square rectangle shape, cutting that out. I'm going to trim along the edge over here where I have extra gold paper hanging off. Along this whole side, when I get up to that curve, I'm going to follow it around, cutting the tag board and the gold paper. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. When I flip it over, I'm starting to see that awesome shape of the King Tut Mask. When I flip it over, I am going to have to cut this circle out. So you know that a little tiny bend in this paper, I'm not creasing it, and a little cut will allow me to cut that negative space out. I am going to follow this shape, cutting just a little bit in the inside of my pencil line, so not super far. Cutting around the edge. When you get the spot, you're going to lay your headdress on top of your mask. I know that my mask already has some writing on it for the eyes. Just ignore that. I don't have a plain one to use for this video. When you raise your hand, I'm going to come around and staple these together. This has been the most successful way to get them to stick. A couple staples on the mask, and we're good to go. The King Tut headdress has lots of blue lines around. But if you notice, the top of the head, they're kind of going up and down. The sides, they're going horizontal. So I'm going to try to show that using a ruler and a blue permanent marker. So thinking about the top, if you are somebody who would like to use a pencil first, when I use a pencil, you can actually see my line carving in. It really makes the outlining part fairly easy. The top of the mask has those up and down lines. They almost look like lines of the sun radiating out from the mask. In between is about a finger space on those lines. I am doing this around the top of the mask. When I get to the side, that's when my ruler flips horizontal, straight across. So I'm not going to do this all the way down, but you can pretend that I'm making these lines. When you get to the neck part, you do not want stripes under the neck. The stripes would end like there's an imaginary line going up from this cut. So the lines would go and stop right there. and they're all about a finger space apart. I am not measuring with my ruler, I'm just kind of ballparking it with my eye. Pretend that I made these lines all the way around my mask, and then the blue Sharpie marker is just going to show them off, just like the real King Tut mask. If you want to make these a little bit thicker, some kids notice that the King Tut mask has thicker lines. You can go over them a couple of times, but still keeping in mind that you want nice, neat work. And then just remember, when you get to that bottom part, they're not going under the chin or on the neck part. They're stopping when they get in line with that cutout. The eyes. I would really encourage you to use a pencil first. We are going to make a line for the eyebrows. And the Egyptians really focused on that almond shape of the eye. It's like a football shape. That almond shape is going to be blue. The eyebrow is going to be blue. And the circle part black. If we flip to the King Tut mask, you can see that awesome work. Egyptians were known for their eye makeup going down. They used a black eyeliner, like a black pencil, and it goes down almost onto the sides of the head. Nothing on the lips or the nose. So from here, with the blue marker, you're going to trace over your pencil lines, thinking about that almond shape of the eyes, eyebrows, and then the black circles. We have black permanent markers for that part. If you are somebody who added the cobra vulture on top, I will come around and chat with you about the best way to use the markers to show that off. If you are somebody who added the beard, there will be some paint that you can go to, and that paint is going to be almost the color of a tarnished penny, a kind of a bluish color. When you are all finished, your project is going to go on the back counter because it will not fit in the drying rack. It is too big.